Hey guys, this is Shane with Cryptosis. Unfortunately, we're not going to have Corey and Rusty here tonight, but they're off doing their own thing. Tonight, I wanted to give you guys a little brief introduction into TradingView. This is what I use to go over all of my charts for different coins and stuff. So let's get right into it. All right, so as you can see, this is the TradingView website, so tradingview.com. Come over here and we can type in a basic pair. So Bitcoin to USD, for example. We'll select Coinbase and launch chart. And of course, the chat is up, so you can feel free to chat if you come in and have some questions about it. So this chart comes up, and this is initially what you'll see. Of course, I'm using this on our Brave browser here, so we can get a fresh look at it, so we can kind of go over what's going on. The first thing I like to do whenever I get here is go ahead and go to this top cog and change this to the dark scale, or the dark theme, excuse me, because I personally don't like all the white, and that's another issue I have with Brave browser right now. If we can get rid of some of that white, it'd be great. So we'll select OK, and we'll take a look at what we got. So up here at the top, you can see that you can see the pair Bitcoin to USD. You can see 60, and that's the time frame that we're looking at, so the 1 hour time scale. And Coinbase, this is the exchange that we're looking at. And of course, you can see the graph here. As we zoom out, you can see how Bitcoin's fallen off significantly since the beginning of the year. So just to give you guys an idea of why I like using this, we'll look at Poloniex, for example, here. If you look at this chart, it's not very interactive. You can change timescales and you can zoom around and play with it, but it's not nearly as good as what we can see on TradingView just with scrolling. Being able to look at things in different time frames is definitely a huge advantage for us when trying to compare different trends. So if you look at things maybe on the 15-minute scale, find those, you can see that there's a lot of, you can't see as much of a trend, but when you go back to the hour, you can actually see that, you know, Bitcoin is trending down, or you can see that from the 15. But if we're looking at like a bull market, if you're looking at a small time scale, you could be seeing that we're actually in a bear market, but it's not really the overall trend that we're looking at. So obviously, I'm hoping that if we've got to this point, you understand what candlesticks are and how they work. But I personally don't like these candlesticks. I like to use the hollow candles. But there's different ways you can play around with them. Hinkiashi, if you're into that sort of deal. You can see here, uptrends are green, downtrends are red. I noticed a second ago that these little indicators are on, so you can hide these events if you want. I personally don't look at them because they're not involved in what I want, or they're not about what I want to see. Typically, they're for more of stocks and stuff. One of the cool features of this is that that you can save this chart as for a quick reference. So if you press Alt W, you can see that this chart will pop up over here on the side. You can delete it if you want, but I like to have a big running stream of different charts so I can flip through them quickly and I don't have to keep typing in all these different pairs. So it gets kind of cumbersome whenever you have different platforms and exchanges that you're trading on. So we just change to a different pair here. But when you have all these different pairs that you're trading on different platforms, you can actually get kind of lost. So Bitcoin to USD. So just looking at this simple pair here, you can see that we're on Bitfinex, Bitstamp, Coinbase, and all these other different exchanges that you can pick from. So it's important to watch what exchange you're on. So we're looking at Coinbase here. So if we go to Bitstamp, for example, you'll see the name changes here, but we're still in the same time frame. Go back to hollow candles. All right, so when we get over here to this side, I don't really care for headlines here because I typically use Google and stuff for searching for all that. So I kind of scale this down and hide it. Details as well. I like to use when you're looking at Poloniex, for example, you can go down here and see the market depth. I like looking at this a lot better because it gives you a deeper range. You can see more of like where people are selling at a bigger time or a bigger scale. So I don't use the market depth here, so I'll slide that out of the way as well. And this makes for more room for if you want to see more trading pairs. All right, so what else is interesting about this is that you have all these different tools that you can play with here. Just from clicking this first button, you can see we have trend line, trend angle, horizontal ray, line, vertical line, all that stuff. So you can click trend line, for example, and you could say if you like, if you're following trend, you can set this line up this way. Tops of candles or tops of tails, whatever you want, however you want to set them up, and you can actually use strategies to decide when you want to trade. Another cool thing about this is you can actually add horizontal lines to where you can see like, okay, so this looks like it's a point of support, so I can put a line here and you can see it throughout the future. So however far you scale, you'll still be able to see it. Of course, you select a line, you can delete it with the delete key. And there's as you get into crypto, you'll learn there's a lot of different things that you can see, or different types of indicators that you can apply, different tools that you can use. One of them that I use pretty frequently is I don't know if I can find it. I'll show you why I have all this, how I have this set up here in a minute. Where's it at? Well, parallel channel. All right, so if you're assuming that you're looking at a trend in a channel, you can actually draw this channel out real nice and easy, and it doesn't take forever to make lines and stuff. So it's really nice and powerful when you get used to it. What I was saying a minute ago though about how I have all this set up, if you actually go over here to let's go back to the lines. So if you want to use a trend line pretty frequently, you can press this little star here and you'll add it to your favorites, and you'll see your favorites bar pop up. I use horizontal line a lot. Parallel channel, so you go through all these different tools that you want. You can keep adding them as you go. I just kind of slide them up here out of the way. So once you figure out all these different tools, you have all these different indicators you can also use. So in some of our previous videos, you've heard me talk about moving averages or EMAs. So you can type EMA. You can find all these different built-in indicators that you can use. So moving average, exponential, so EMA. When you click it, close this out, and you'll see that it should load up. Yep, it's just dark. So you can go to settings. You'll see it actually highlights the EMA from there. Let's see, let's change it to 50. And we'll change our style to a little thicker line. Let's make it so that we can all see. All right, so now you can see that it follows the 50-day moving average. So another important feature about this that really hit me in the very beginning and caused me a lot of grief was the scaling. So sometimes you'll see that people have their lines or shifts that are off. So typically what I do is I scale everything left, and right click on the chart and go to double click on the actual candles, and you can see scale left, scale right, and click OK, and there you go. Now the other indicator that I use, rather than just using each individual EMA, I use the TIMA, triple moving average. Nope, that's not the right one. Where did it go? Let's move over here to my trading view. No, it's not. So, well, we can play with that in the future. I can show you how to get back to that. So tradingView is not free. Well, there is a free version for it. So if you go back here to the home page here, you can join for free, and it'll allow you to look at one chart, or it'll allow you to have one layout that you look at. So every time you load up tradingView, you'll go straight back to this chart, and it'll have all of your indicators and lines and stuff in place. But just to make it known, I'm actually using the pro version here, so I've paid for it. I actually got a discount around Black Friday, so I got a pretty decent price here. But if you go over to compare the different plans, you can see that you have charts per layout. So this here, you have different layouts where you can save. So if you're working with one indicator and you want to go to a different indicator quickly, you can go here. Let's see. Pull mine over here to show you. So EMA indicator, load chart layout. So from MACD and RSI, if I click on this, it'll take me directly to a different chart where I can see the MACD and the RSI here for this chart. And you can see the team I loaded in on this one. Uh-oh. Oh, it's behind. So it's pretty powerful if you know how to use it. So let's go back to the plans. But you can't really save a layout unless you're using the pro or a pro, anything above the free version. Devices at the same time as one. I don't really need to use more than one device at a time. Server-side alerts, you can actually have this. You can actually set this up to where they will send you alerts based off of where the price range is. So alert. And we won't have to go through all this in very much detail, but if you want it to send you an email if you're not watching the charts, it's if you say you're at work and you're not watching the charts, you can actually sit back and have this thing send you an email whenever coin is at a certain price, and you can move back and buy it quickly or sell quickly, whatever you want. And that's pretty handy. I personally don't use it because I use, as we've talked about in some of our previous videos, is Blockfolio or Delta. Those actually send me alerts quicker than email, I believe. So I don't really use that. So indicators per chart. This is kind of a big one here. So if you're looking at different indicators, let's do EMA. So once you try to add more than 4 indicators, you're going to get this more indicators per chart, and they're going to request that you upgrade. If you want to use less than 5, or if you're okay with using less than 5 indicators, you're fine with just using the free version. But I personally like to sometimes play around with a couple more indicators. So, it was beneficial for me to upgrade. Indicator on indicator, save chart layouts, and that's what we were talking about with the charts per layout. So you can read through this and decide if it's something that you want to go through. But personally for me, I don't need to use the premium version of this because I have other applications that allow me to have access to more data. So Pro is enough for me. So let's delete some of these. So scrolling out, you can see trends. I'm scrolling in. So with this time frame here, it's pretty cool if you change it to a week here. And of course, we're still looking at Bitcoin, and kind of want to look over this as well. Let's do this one. So with Bitcoin here, you see I have some resistance and support lines drawn already. And of course, I was playing with just some trend lines. And I've got my moving average there. So if we're looking at the daily average, you can see that we're just broke the 200 on the daily average. So this is, we're still looking pretty good. And another tool that I wanted to mention earlier was the Fibonacci retracements. I have mine set up to where I can draw I have different colors for different ranges, and you can play around with this in the future. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in Discord or whatever, and I can show you how to go through all of this. But I want to kind of keep it short tonight. You'll as you start doing your understanding of different indicators, you'll see that Fibonacci has a very important role in some of how some of these things work. So we'll do that for now. So yeah, this is just a quick understanding, and you can see here with my charts, I've got like, let's go back to Bitcoin. So what I do with my charts is I like to set everything up to where I can, I don't have to guess of where my trades are at. So what I like to do is go over here to Note. You can click the Note and insert this little icon here, and you can add whatever you want. You change the color to whatever. Okay, and I actually like to take and put mine down at a certain price where I bought in at. So you can see here where this blue line is, that's where the bottom of this note is at. So if you change it around, you can delete it. So of course you see I have a sell point here for right one. Of course I look like a fool right now because I should have sold yesterday whenever this thing was at 250% profit, but we'll hodl. So different game or different things you can play with. With text, you can actually add text. So if you're working on a strategy or an idea, sometimes it's good. So like I like to watch Head and Shoulders sometimes, and I think that was the note that I just deleted. This is not a very good one on this chart, but this is kind of a Head and Shoulders here. So you can highlight it, indicate it, let you know what you were looking at the time. Because if you're going through different coins like I am, sometimes you need to have a good reminder of why you got into a trade, and this is a good way to do it. This is all stuff that you can't really use from the average chart, like on Poloniex here. All right, so you can draw circles, highlight things if you need to, which you obviously can't do on Polo. If you want to have a quick price range, so you can click here and you can zoom up and it'll actually show you what your percentage is at this level and what the price is at that level or how much you've gained at this level. And of course, if you're not selling like I should have, you can go here and have your negatives. Another cool thing about this is if you do add these different watch lists, which we could see, let's go back to, oh, that's another thing. If you do use the free version, you are going to kind of get spammed with notifications. Of course, you don't get those on the Brave browser, so that's another benefit for Brave. But you'll get spam with notifications telling you that they want you to we're going to check out this ad because you're using our free service. But here, if you look at the Pro version that I'm using, we have all these watch lists, so unlimited watch list. So what that is this is your watch list here. So what I do is I have all these pairs that I'm watching. So this is just my Poloniex pairs. So if I go to Binance, for example, once it finishes loading, see there's a whole nother list of different pairs that you can play with. So what's powerful about this though is that you can use CoinMarketCap to copy all the different pairs that are on Binance and actually create a CSV file for Binance, for example, and you can actually import this into Poloniex. So you'll set them up this way, and if you need help going through this, if you get to this point and you want to play with it, let me know and I'll show you how to make this happen really fast. It's really nice because you don't have to go through by hand and search for each different pair. What's the first one? ADA, BTC. You'll go to finance and then Alt W to save. And then the next one was ADX, BNB. Go to that chart, Alt W to save, and so on and so forth. So if you get there, just let me know, and I can help you out with that. We can actually do it for all of the exchanges that are on CoinMarketCap or any exchange that you want. We can figure out how to make that happen. Let's see what else. Obviously, you've got your measure. You've got different icons you can add. Let's see. Another cool feature about this. Go back to Polo. Go to Bitcoin. Another cool feature about this is that you can actually, you have this replay option. So when you click this, drag to the side, you can actually select the candle that you want and then click play. And you'll actually see it. You'll see how those candles form as it goes. This open here, closed here. The next one opened here and moved up. This one moved up, started here, moved down, just like candles work. But it's cool to have a replay of how that candle happened, if you're interested in that. All right, so let's go back here. All right, so another cool feature about TradingView is if you go back to the home page here, you can see all these different things that look like nothing, just different. It looks like a social media app basically. But if you click on one of these what do I want to call them? Different ideas, basically. You can see where other people are posting their information about what they think is going to happen. So this is for Bitcoin to USD here. They're drawing triangles and lines and squares and circles and everything. They're basically drawing a bunch of lines to make them happen. But if you spend time reading some of these people's posts, you can find some people who actually have some good information and actually have an idea of what they're doing. So it would be interesting it could be interesting to you to spend some time looking over this. Also, you can look for different scripts. Let's see. MFI, for example, money flow index. You can see how other people are using MFI in their charts, and you can actually add some of their scripts to your chart. So if we come back to TradingView here, go to indicators, favorites. So like MACD split colors. Let's add this one. So you can see this MACD is different from this MACD just based off of the color, but it's all about preference. So if you can find different indicators that you like and understand how the indicators work, you can definitely play with those, and it becomes really powerful overall. So if you have any questions, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. We're where are we at? Yeah, I think it's about a good time to stop. So if you have any more questions, just let me know. This is my first live video, so bear with me. I know that we've been this is the first live video by myself, I should say. So we're getting to where we're moving. But as always, feel free to reach out to us on Discord or Telegram or Steam it. We'd love to talk to you. Love to get to know you. So let us know. Thanks, guys.